The world knows Detroit as the Motor City. It knows the roar of the V8 engine, the rhythm of the Motown bass line, and the grit of the assembly line. But beneath the headlines of bankruptcy and renaissance, beneath the shiny new skyscrapers of downtown and the historic mansions of Boston Edison, there is a different kind of engine humming. It is an engine fueled not by gasoline, but by equity. It is the engine of Black female capital. We are not talking about Instagram rich. We are talking about women who control municipal bonds worth billions. Women who have stood in front of global investors and demanded their worth. Women whose names are whispered in boardrooms from Wall Street to Tokyo as the gatekeepers of Michigan's economy. From the heiress of the Motown legacy to the queen of Wall Street who lives quietly in the suburbs, these are the power players you haven't heard enough about. We are tracking the top titans of industry, the disruptors of retail, and the queens of capital. This is the countdown of the richest Black women in Detroit. Number 8. Rachel Allen and the Architects of Infrastructure. To understand the future of wealth in Detroit, you cannot just look at the established giants. You must look at the women building the very roads for the next generation to drive on. Rachel Allen represents a new class of wealth in the city, institutional wealth. She is not just accumulating money, she is building the systems that create it. Allen is the force behind the Operations School, O-School, a venture that sits at the critical intersection of logistics, operations, and Black business scaling. In a city that was built on the assembly line, Allen realized that the modern Black entrepreneur didn't need just passion, they needed process. She identified a billion-dollar gap in the market, the operational inefficiency of small businesses. Her wealth journey is one of high-stakes risk. Unlike the tech bros of Silicon Valley, who start with millions in venture capital, Allen began with her own skin in the game. She invested over $200,000 of her personal funds to launch her vision, a terrifying gamble for any entrepreneur, let alone a Black woman in a city recovering from bankruptcy. This wasn't just seed money. This was life savings. It was a bet on herself and on the city's capacity for growth. That bet paid off in spectacular fashion. Allen became the only Black woman in the entire state of Michigan to secure a massive $2.8 million Small Business Support Hubs grant from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. This infusion of capital didn't just validate her business model, it crowned her as a gatekeeper of state-level economic development funds. But Allen's influence extends beyond grants. By stepping away from daily operations to focus on national expansion, she demonstrated the ultimate boss move, firing yourself to grow the empire. She installed Dr. Stacy Hunter, a former VP at Chase Bank, to run the shop, proving that her organization had matured from a founder-led hustle into a self-sustaining institution. Her net worth is tied up in the intellectual property and operational equity of her ventures, but her influence capital is sky-high. In Detroit, if you want to know how to turn a hustle into a corporation, you go to Rachel Allen. She represents the wealth of knowledge that is currently being monetized at a premium rate in the city's burgeoning consultancy sector. She proves that in the new Detroit, the teacher is often wealthier than the student, especially when the lesson is how to build an empire. Number 7. Ebony Cochran, the franchise queen. If Rachel Allen is the architect, Ebony Cochran is the builder. In the world of wealth, there is a concept known as accessible luxury, but Cochran deals in accessible ownership. She is the founder of the Detroit Wealth Club, but her fortune is rooted in something far more tangible: pizza. Cochran made history as the first African-American woman to own a Little Caesars franchise in the state of Michigan. To understand the magnitude of this, you have to understand Detroit. Little Caesars is not just a pizza chain here. It is an institution, founded by the Ilitch family who effectively own the city's sports district. For a Black woman to break into that ownership circle in the company's hometown was a shattering of the glass ceiling. Franchising is a brutal, high-capital game. It requires liquid cash, perfect credit, and nerves of steel. Cochran didn't just buy a job. She bought a cash-flowing asset in a high-traffic urban market. But she didn't stop at selling hot and readies. She pivoted her profits into a vertically integrated wealth education platform. Her new headquarters for the Detroit Wealth Club is a 7,300 square foot facility on the city's east side. a physical fortress of financial literacy. This isn't a rented office. This is real estate development. Cochran invested $155,000 of her own cash, combined with grants, to renovate the space. This move signals a shift from tenant to landlord, a critical transition in the Black wealth playbook. Cochran's wealth is a mix of franchise revenue, which can generate hundreds of thousands in profit annually per store if run well, and the high-margin business of consultancy. She teaches what she does, creating a flywheel of income where her business success fuels her coaching business, which in turn provides capital for more investments. She represents the bootstrap millionaire archetype. There was no inheritance, no trust fund. Just the discipline to save, the credit to borrow, and the audacity to buy into a system that wasn't designed for her. In a city where Black wealth is often discussed in the abstract, Ebony Cochran is printing receipts. Number 6. Nailah Ellis, the manufacturing mogul. Detroit is a manufacturing town. It's in the water, it's in the soil. And Nailah Ellis is the modern embodiment of that industrial spirit. She is the founder of Ellis Island Tea, and she holds the title of running the largest Black woman-owned beverage company in the United States. Her story is the stuff of Detroit folklore. She didn't start with a factory. She started with a cooler and a recipe passed down from her Jamaican great-grandfather, Cyril Ellis, who was a chef for the Black Star Line, Marcus Garvey's shipping company. That historical lineage is important. It connects Ellis not just to money, but to the very roots of Pan-African economic independence. Ellis began by selling tea out of the trunk of her car, battling the elements and the skepticism of a saturated market. But the hustle is only the first phase of wealth. The second phase is scale. And Ellis scaled like a titan. She moved from the trunk to the shelves of Whole Foods, Target, and Sam's Club. The turning point in her wealth trajectory came when she realized she couldn't rely on co-packers, third-party manufacturers, who didn't care about her product. In a bold move that would make Henry Ford smile, she built her own production facility in Detroit. Owning the means of production is the holy grail of capitalism. It means Ellis controls her margins, her quality, and her distribution. Her financial standing was further solidified when she secured $1.85 million in funding and attracted investors like comedian and business mogul Kevin Hart. Celebrity investment acts as a rocket booster for valuation. It's not just about the cash, it's about the marketing value that comes with it. With a net worth estimated around $5 million, Ellis is firmly in the high net worth category. But her potential is exponential. The beverage industry is famous for massive exits. Think of vitamin water or Bai. Ellis is sitting on an acquisition target that could easily fetch 8 or 9 figures in the future. She is the liquid gold of Detroit, proving that a family recipe can be turned into a manufacturing dynasty if you have the grit to brew it yourself. Number 5. Robin Terry, the guardian of the legacy. In Detroit, culture is currency, and no one controls a more valuable cultural vault than Robin Terry. As the chairwoman and CEO of the Motown Museum, she is the steward of the most famous sound in the world. Terry is not a hired gun, she is blood. She is the grandniece of Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown Records. Her grandmother was Esther Gordy Edwards, the woman who had the foresight to save the Hitsville, USA building when the record label moved to Los Angeles. While the music business left, the history stayed, and Terry controls the physical manifestation of that history. Her wealth profile is unique. While her direct compensation from the nonprofit museum is modest, reported in the $100,000 range, her proximity to the Gordy family fortune and her control over a massive real estate expansion place her in a position of immense power. She is currently overseeing a $55 million expansion of the Motown Museum, a project that is transforming a residential block on West Grand Boulevard into a world-class tourism campus. This expansion is backed by the heaviest hitters in philanthropy: the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, $3 million, the Kresge Foundation, and the state of Michigan. Terry is the one signing the contracts, approving the designs, and cutting the ribbons. In the world of high-end nonprofits, the CEO is essentially a specialized investment banker, raising capital, and managing asset growth. Under her leadership, the museum's assets have grown to over $55 million. But beyond the museum, Terry represents the legacy wealth of Detroit's Black elite. The Gordy family is American royalty. Their influence spans music, film, and real estate. Terry's role is to ensure that this legacy remains anchored in Detroit, generating revenue for the city and preserving the family's name. She's a reminder that in Detroit, your last name can be your biggest asset. But unlike many heirs who squander their inheritance, Terry is actively building upon hers, turning a small house on a boulevard into a global pilgrimage site. She is the keeper of the flame, and the flame is worth millions. Number 4. Melissa Butler, the beauty billionaire in the making. If you want to see the face of new money in Detroit, look at Melissa Butler. She is the founder and CEO of the Lip Bar, and she is single-handedly dismantling the old boys club of the beauty industry. Butler's story is the ultimate revenge success. She famously went on the TV show Shark Tank and was brutally rejected. The investors told her that her brightly colored lipsticks were clown makeup and that there was no market for them. They were wrong, dead wrong. Butler didn't just prove them wrong, she built an empire on their grave. She quit her Wall Street job, moved back to Detroit, and started making lipstick in her kitchen. This is the classic Detroit pivot, leaving the safety of the coast to build something gritty in the Midwest. Today, the Lip Bar is a juggernaut. It is the largest Black-owned makeup brand in Target. It is sold in Walmart and CVS. Butler has raised over $15.9 million in venture capital, including a massive $6.7 million Series A round led by Pendulum. In the world of startups, valuation is everything. A beauty brand with this level of distribution, revenue growth, and cultural heat is likely valued in the high 8 figures, possibly creeping toward the $100 million mark. Butler owns a significant chunk of this equity. Unlike many founders who get diluted down to nothing, Butler grew the company lean for years before taking big money. That means when the company eventually sells, and beauty brands are constantly being bought by giants like L'Oreal or Estée Lauder for billions, Butler is set to become one of the wealthiest women in the state. But she didn't just build a brand, she built a flagship. Her store in downtown Detroit is a glossy, neon-lit symbol of the city's retail resurgence. She is also the founder of Boz Ventures, engaging in the capital side of the game. Melissa Butler is the disruptor. She used the rejection of the establishment as fuel. She represents the power of the Black consumer dollar, proving that products made by Black women for Black women are not niche, they are mainstream, and they are massively profitable. Number 3. Dr. Iris Taylor and the corporate matriarchs. In the upper echelons of Detroit's economy, there is a group of women who don't just own businesses, they run the city's life support systems. We call them the corporate matriarchs, and standing tall among them is Dr. Iris Taylor. Dr. Taylor is the former president and CEO of Detroit Receiving Hospital, one of the busiest and most critical trauma centers in the country. In the healthcare industry, the CEO is king or queen. These are multi-billion-dollar organizations with thousands of employees. A hospital CEO in a major metro area commands a salary package in the high 6 to 7 figures, often supplemented by lucrative consulting gigs and board memberships. But Dr. Taylor's wealth goes beyond her salary. It is about her board portfolio. In Detroit, real power is exercised in the boardroom. Dr. Taylor has served on the boards of the Detroit Public Schools Community District as president, the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, Detroit branch, and numerous other civic entities. When you sit on the board of the Federal Reserve, you are not just a doctor, you are an economist. You are helping to set the monetary policy for the region. This level of access translates into information wealth. These women know where the economy is going before the newspapers do. Alongside Dr. Taylor, we must mention women like Faye Nelson, the director of Michigan programs for the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. Nelson formerly ran the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy, overseeing the billion-dollar transformation of the city's waterfront. These women are the fixers. When the city needs a hospital turned around, or a riverfront built, or a school system saved, they call the matriarchs. Their net worths are built on decades of high-level executive compensation, defined benefit pensions, the golden handcuffs of the corporate world, and conservative long-term investing. They live in the stately homes of Palmer Woods and the Gold Coast. They drive late-model luxury sedans. They are the bedrock of the black upper class in Detroit, quiet, dignified, and incredibly well-paid. Number 2. Carla Walker-Miller, the energy titan. Now we enter the stratosphere. The woman at number 2 is not just participating in the economy, she is literally powering it. Carla Walker-Miller is the founder and CEO of Walker-Miller Energy Services, and she is the wealthiest self-made industrialist on this list. Walker-Miller is an energy mogul. Her company is not a small consultancy. It is a massive engineering and energy efficiency firm that contracts with major utilities like DTE Energy and Consumers Energy. In the energy game, the contracts are not measured in thousands. They are measured in tens of millions. Walker-Miller Energy Services generated a reported $68.7 million in revenue in a single year. Let that number sink in. Nearly $70 million. In the service industry, margins can be healthy. If we apply a conservative valuation multiple to a company with that kind of revenue, especially one that is Black woman-owned, a massive advantage in government and utility contracting, the enterprise value of her company is easily in the mid-8 to 9 figures. And Carla Walker-Miller owns it. She didn't inherit it. She founded it in 2000, pivoting from selling engineering equipment to mastering the green economy before it was a buzzword. She saw the future, decarbonization, electrification, and efficiency, and positioned herself as the toll booth collector on the road to a green Detroit. Her personal net worth is likely in the tens of millions, firmly establishing her as a deca-millionaire. She lives the part, with the gravitas, of a woman who has survived the boom and bust cycles of the energy sector. But what makes her truly powerful is her B Corp status. She became the first Black-owned company in Michigan to earn a certified B Corp designation. This means she is legally obligated to prioritize social impact alongside profit. She employs over 100 people, many of them Black Detroiters, giving them entry into the high-paying energy sector. Walker-Miller is the industrial queen. She proves that Black women don't just have to be in beauty or entertainment. They can dominate the hard hat industries. She is the woman who keeps the lights on, and she gets paid every time the switch is flipped. Number 1. Suzanne Shank, the Wall Street Queen of Detroit. There is rich, there is wealthy, and then there is Suzanne Shank. She is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most financially powerful Black woman in Detroit, and quite possibly in the entire state of Michigan. Suzanne Shank is the president, CEO, and co-founder of Siebert Williams Shank and Company LLC. This is not a local bank. This is the top-ranked minority and woman-owned investment banking firm in the United States of America. Shank lives in Detroit, but she plays on Wall Street. Her firm deals in municipal bonds. When the city of New York needs to build a bridge, or the state of California needs to fund schools, or the city of Detroit needs to exit bankruptcy, they call investment banks to underwrite the debt. Shank's firm has managed deals totaling over $700 billion. Note the B, Shank is a titan. A Wharton MBA graduate and a civil engineer by training, she combined her technical knowledge of infrastructure with the ruthless efficiency of high finance. She co-founded the firm with the late Muriel Siebert, the first woman to own a seat on the NYSE, and later merged with the Williams Capital Group to create a juggernaut. Her personal net worth is a fortress. While public disclosures of her stock holdings in other companies show millions in liquid assets, such as $3.59 million in public trades alone, this is pocket change compared to the value of her ownership stake in her private investment bank. Investment banks of this caliber generate massive fees. The partners in these firms are often earning 8-figure incomes annually. It is safe to estimate her total net worth in the solid 9-figure range, making her a centimillionaire. Despite this immense wealth, Shank is notoriously low-key. She doesn't star in reality shows. She doesn't get into Twitter feuds. She lives in a prestigious Detroit neighborhood, serves on the boards of the rocket companies and CMS Energy, and quietly cuts checks that keep the city's cultural institutions afloat. She has been named one of the most powerful blacks on Wall Street and National Entrepreneur of the Year. Suzanne Shank is the capitalist supreme. She sits at the very top of the food chain. She is the banker who lends money to cities. In the hierarchy of Detroit wealth, everyone else is playing checkers. Suzanne Shank is playing 3D chess with the national debt. She is the richest black woman in Detroit, and she built it all by betting on the infrastructure of America. From the pizza franchises of the East Side to the bond trading desks of downtown, these women tell a new story of Detroit. It is a story where black women are not just the labor force, they are the ownership class. They have faced down racism, sexism, and economic collapse, and they have won. They are the guardians of the Motown legacy, the innovators of the green energy grid, and the financiers of the American dream. So the next time you see a new building going up in Detroit, or buy a lipstick at Target, or turn on your lights, remember, there is likely a black woman getting paid for that. And she's just getting started. Who do you think is the next billionaire to rise out of the Motor City? Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the black wealth. We'll see you in the next one.